Thank you for tuning into NCCAP's STEMinar series. In this episode, we will highlight the hard work of the North Carolina Science Fair Foundation with Teresa Gibson. Teresa Gibson is an education consultant and the executive director of the North Carolina Science Fair Foundation. The North Carolina Science Fair Foundation is committed to increasing the awareness of, exposure to, and participation in inquiry based science learning. The North Carolina Science Fair Foundation supports the North Carolina Science and Engineering Fair through fundraising and outreach to inspire innovation and excellence in student research. Hi, everyone. I am Shanika Simmons, the program coordinator at the North Carolina Center for Afterschool Programs. And today we're talking with Teresa Gibson from the North Carolina Science Fair Foundation. Teresa, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Shanika. My name is Teresa Gibson, and I am the executive director at the North Carolina Science Fair Foundation. My background in education started in mathematics education, middle and high school mathematics, and I have spent some time developing professional learning for teachers and leaders across North Carolina and nationally, and I found my way to the foundation.
Nice. I'm a former teacher as well. So, hey, we're here. And could you tell us more about the North Carolina Science Fair Foundation, what you all do, how long you've been around, all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So the North Carolina Science Fair has actually been around for many, many years, more than 30 years. But the foundation itself as a nonprofit began in 2009. And the mission of the nonprofit goes well beyond just the science fair. And I shouldn't say just the science fair. It's a major event, and it's so important that kids have that experience of presenting their research. But our mission really is driven by raising awareness and providing opportunities for students in STEM, particularly reaching all the way across North Carolina to every zip code, every income level, and especially focusing on reaching historically underrepresented populations. And what we want to bring to them is we like to say, some real rigorous science experience, how science is done in the real world, that research process and that engineering design process.
And speaking of youth from different parts of North Carolina, no matter their zip code, no matter their income level, how has the North Carolina Science Fair Foundation continued to serve them in this crazy pandemic that we have right now, our new normal?
Yeah, it's been a great struggle, but we have continued our outreach and worked very hard internally to provide some opportunities for the students. And so just recently, we launched our first ever virtual showcase of our 2020 state finalists. And so the kids were able to provide us either a video or a photo, and trying to be inclusive to make sure that there were no barriers to students. And a summary of their project work. And so that has launched, and we're really excited about that piece of work. We've also focused a lot of energy on making sure we get our partner activities out there so that whatever we're doing or our partners are doing, the students and teachers still have access to those STEM activities. And one thing that the pandemic has kind of pushed us to be able to do that we hadn't imagined before is we've been reaching out to our alumni students and kind of capturing their stories and sharing those back out. And we're hoping that can raise some awareness just about inquiry and engineering design and the opportunities there, but also about the fair opportunity and a lot of interest in where these students are landing. And many of them are in college or graduated and in careers. And so we're beginning to capture those. And it's wonderful, like this world of virtual interviews has really empowered us to capture those stories.
Yes, we are here at NCCAP. We're fans of the virtual interview now. So with that, with your connection to youth, with you guys reaching out to your alumni, how have you guys continued to support the educators that serve them in this pandemic, and what has the impact been?
Yeah, so we've actually been able to shift our teacher workshops to the virtual format. And what that allowed us to do was kind of bring teachers together we've been doing them regionally, face-to-face in the past, but now we've been able to kind of bring them together in a statewide learning opportunity. And we've also been able to, the value of this Zoom interview process access, right? We've been able to capture those recordings. And so we've been working with partners to share those recordings out as a lot of their conferences are going virtual or they're trying to showcase other STEM activities. So they are now recorded and available for people to refer back to, and they're publicly available on our YouTube channel also. And then this fall, because of the, that the pandemic has caused us to really rethink how we're reaching kids with true science experiments and experiences and engineering design. And so I'm working with our regional directors to set up just office hours support for teachers in the region to kind of help them think through and work through how can we still provide some of these experiences at home for students. And so those are still being scheduled, but I'm really excited to kind of jump in and share thinking and knowledge and learn from the educators of North Carolina too.
Yeah, I actually watched a few of the videos of the PD that you guys did over the summer, and I was like, wow, there's so much here. And we share those resources out as well, and we'll continue sharing those resources out. And so your last point about rethinking science brings me to my next question, because I mean, science is one of the most hands-on, the best way I can describe it is like hands-on. It's, it's in person, it's feeling, it's touching, it's trial and error. And so what advice do you have for people that are trying to implement more hands-on STEM?
Yeah, it's such a mystery, right? We all feel like, but my advice is really based on what I'm hearing from the students that we work with and the alumni that have had this experience. And it's really the big piece of advice is just to be curious. Try things, engage with things. There is a lot in your house, in the world, that we can still inquire about. We can ask those questions. We can design things. It might shift some of the questions we have, but that curiosity is really the driver for science and engineering. That's where all scientists and engineers start, and try all kinds of different things. Don't put pressure on yourself to have the perfect research project. Just continue to engage in that curiosity. But then, like, for resources and ideas, if you're stuck, get on social media and start following STEM people. North Carolina has an amazing STEM ecosystem. Follow the Center for Afterschool programs. We're all working together internally to capture and share resources and opportunities. We've seen lots of funders flip to a quick scholarship model for teachers. And parents, there's tons of activities out there, and we are sharing widely and often as we can. So get on social media or just reach out directly, because we are waiting to kind of help and support.
Yes, absolutely. And the first part, where you said, we're listening to our kids. That's the most important thing, right? Is to take in their voice and know exactly what they want, right? And to promote that voice, and because that'll help us guide what's next, like what do they have at home that they can experiment with and really transform their thinking, even if it's virtual. And so what do you think the future of learning looks like, specifically with science, math, STEM in general?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of excited about what that might be, especially as we work through this pandemic in this virtual world. We've seen a lot of windows and doors opened where we can now provide some virtual mentorship opportunities for teachers. We're looking at how to do that for students. There's this huge opportunity to connect with scientists and engineers that are in the field working in careers. Tons of postdocs that are looking for ways to give back to the communities they're from. And I feel like we will push beyond just doing the hands-on, but kind of like peeking into the real labs and the real corporations where science and engineering are happening in the real world. And so I think the more we can get that integrated, like, we need to see this opportunity and start to figure out how we can leverage this and keep the good pieces of what we're seeing from this pandemic.
Yeah. And last question, where can viewers learn more about the North Carolina Science Fair Foundation?
Yeah, so we have social media accounts, and we're always at NC Science Fair. And so if you want to find that handle, we are on Facebook. If you are going there, I know a lot of parents will be on Facebook, but for students, we're definitely on Instagram if you want to find us there. And we do tweet, so lots of educators find us there. But then everything that we have and do and share is also on the NCSEF website. And so that is just ncsef.org.
And thank you so much, Teresa, for all this wonderful information and for your perspective and working in STEM and continuing to do that work, even though the future isn't necessarily certain in this case. And we're learning new things and learning how to approach science in a different light. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, and many thanks to the Center for After School Programs, and thank you for the invite and the opportunity to share more.
Thank you. To learn more about the North Carolina Science Fair Foundation and the work that they're doing with the North Carolina Science and Engineering Fair, visit www.ncsef.org. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this and others that we know you'll enjoy. Do you have an idea for a STEMinar or a webinar that you would love to see NCCAP cover? Well, comment below or check out our website at www.ncafterschool.org.